The show brings the temperature of sports to a whole new level. Whether it's a local opinion or a national agenda, everything is fair game. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but only few can back it up. Now sit back, crank up the volume, and if you think you can handle it, get ready for the heat.
Boom. And we are live. Brand new intro for the Heat Race of the night, brought to you by my man at Nick P-A-Z-Z. Nick Paz has his own band, makes all the music, all the beats. I wanted a little pop, little hip hop all together. And look at John checking in on it. John checking in right away. John's learned how to do some stuff over here. John's already giving up. I love it. I love it. Welcome everybody. Heat Ratio Podcast, episode 131. We got a big show planned. Last week we went about an hour and 45 minutes. It was crazy. The ultimate stiff list was probably, I got texts all week, dude, about everybody was like, yo, that stiff list was the best. Dave, you missed that. We're going to have to do it again for you. Dave, we welcome Dave back again. Tony Jigsaw-Cotillo, Mikey Goose, John Coker, Coach Dave Dixon at Heat Ratio Sports. We're going to talk Phillies anniversaries tonight. We're going to talk about Sixers roulette, something that I like to call, listen, you keep Ben, you keep Joe, and we're going to take one guy. You can take whatever guy you want in the NBA currently right now. Pretend money was no object and insert them into that big three. Who would you pick for that team? We're also going to talk about Eagles trivia. We got the Eagles trivia question. Again, tonight, that's going to be brought to you by Statement Games. And we're going to talk about a little partnership of that, talking later for Thursday Night Football coming up. But right away, we have, boys, the Eagles. I mean, listen, I feel like we start to show off every single week because it's the same thing, win or lose. Before I get started, I will say one thing. Shout out to Dak Prescott. Unbelievable. Say what you want. I hate the Cowboys, but I would never advocate for a serious injury like that. And I will say one thing. Dave, you know this as a coach. Mike, your son's in college. John, your kids will be there. If they are athletes, that's why they hold out, people. That's why they hold out. I'll say it again, and I get it. I get why people say, listen, he had a chance to sign a doesn't matter. I'm just not talking about Dak. All I'm saying is that's why they hold out. This man now has to worry about what's going to happen next, right? All playing on that franchise tag deal. So, but Philadelphia Eagles, what do? Andre, what's up, buddy? Checking in as always. The first man. A-Bomb's going to do a little Sixer show with me in a couple weeks. Him, Al. Hopefully Al checks in tonight as well. But again, the Philadelphia, they're so frustrating. Let me just, I'm not even going to talk long on this because I'm going to open it up to everybody. But I don't even know who it is right now. That's my biggest thing. I keep asking, who is it? Who's the guy? Who's the first guy? I don't even know who it is. That's the thing. Do I get mad at Jim Schwartz? Do I get mad at Howie Roseman? Do I get mad at Doug Peterson? Do I get mad at Carson Wentz? Like, who do I get mad at, right? I have no idea who to get mad at. All I know is I am watching teams week in and week out that are far inferior to us playing so much better. I'm watching draft picks. Again, they stack up. The Rasul I got to sit and watch that stiff Sidney Jones tweet out about how good he's playing in Jacksonville. Right? I got to watch Rasul Douglas balling out for Carolina, talking about one of the best cover corners they've had in the last 3 years. You're kidding me, taking a spot at James Bradbury. So it's killing me. It is absolutely killing me. Dave, you had a week off, so I'm going to go right to you. So I know you got a lot of energy, and I know you want to kill your boy Schwartz when the cover two scheme with Nate Gary has no business out there covering. Dave, give me your Eagles thoughts.
Well, how can we blame Nate Geary, right? I mean, in my opinion, that's the coach's job is to put players in positions to be successful. And Jim Schwartz has proven time and time again he is just not capable of doing that at an NFL level, in my opinion. And Tony and John have been the longest. Mike, you'll hear me say I cannot stand Jim Schwartz. I haven't liked him. I'll go back to the Super Bowl game, and I know it sounds like a broken record, but guys, when players go to other programs and they see success, and you have to start questioning things on your own inside. When you're playing 7 yards off the ball and your D-backs are getting beat on slants and everything else, and one guy beat you for 4 touchdowns in a day. This isn't the first time this has happened to the Eagles defense, right? They've had guys that have beat them for multiple touchdowns in a game, and we don't do anything to counter it. I mean, listen, Schwartz is a problem. He's been a problem. Right now, Tony, you just discussed who do you blame. My opinion, it has to go to the owner. The owner needs to take a giant step forward and make decisions here. And I said it before a couple of shows ago that Jeffrey Lurie is now becoming the blame because Howie Roseman's an issue. We are set back 3 years now. We because of these draft picks and the inability to pick a future for us. We have missed on multiple receivers, whether it be through the draft or free agency. Jim Schwartz is a gigantic issue and has been an issue. All right. So, I'm okay with Carson Wentz. I'm okay with Doug Peterson. Those 3 guys, starting with Jeffrey Lurie, need to be held accountable for what's going on with our franchise. And there's nothing being said. I saw an article from Rube Frank saying that, hey, let's talk about what Howie Roseman's done well here.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I wanted to throw up. He picked up a kid. You're talking to me about a kid that the receiver that came out of where's he from? Where's Fulgham from, or what's his name?
Travis Fulgham. He's from the practice squad at Green Bay.
Well, what college though? What college was?
I think it was Old Dominion. I don't know. Maybe was he a walk-on on Old Dominion or something?
Was Old Dominion. Good
Old
pull.
Dominion football powerhouse, and that we pick him up, and Rube Frank wants us to give credit to the staff and Howie Roseman. I don't think so, Rube. I don't think so, man. There's no credit going out. You're 1-3-1, and we're talking about practice squad receivers to give credit to Howie Roseman, and they want to take credit for Jordan Mailata. Listen, I'm a fan of Jordan Mailata. You got lucky. That was cross your fingers, and the kid can play. He looks like he can play. If they bring back Jason Peters and remove Mailata from that starting spot at left tackle the whole year, then I will go 8 whatever, and I won't say it out loud. But that kid needs to stay there for the rest of the time. And as far as I'm concerned, Peters, take a hike. See you later.
I'll give you that. Listen, and I will 100% get, and I was a big Jason Peters advocate, and I got a lot of flack for it. I got killed for wanting Jason Peters back. I will say it again, and I will continue to say it. I wanted Jason Peters back to not only be a player, but as another coach. That was my point. And if you hear Jordan Mailata, he puts a lot of praise into the teachings of Jason Peters. So he did exactly what I wanted him to do. But Dave, I'm with you. Keep him on the sideline, man. Let this kid play because he's playing really well. Mike, what's your thoughts?
Well, let's get one thing out of the way. Whoever I decide to go and rip on Facebook usually turns around and has like an unbelievable game. So as soon as I put on Facebook, Carson Wentz is horrible, bench him, he just goes off and has probably the best game of the season. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to double down on what I said the last couple of weeks. The guy's a Jekyll and Hyde. You just don't know what you're going to get. Last week was a momentum-building game. I mean, he had some stuff to build off of, and it looks like he's getting back to where he needs to be, which is a really good sign because I think we're all ready to sort of write him off. But now the focus really isn't even on Carson Wentz. I mean, he's not the problem. He's not the biggest problem. I mean, if you want to go back and you want to talk about 3 ex-Eagles making unbelievable plays from, that bum Aguilar, okay, because I don't care how many touchdowns he catches, he still stinks and he'll always stink. And he got every possible opportunity to excel with the Eagles, and he didn't. He's just a big, big, big fail. Outside of that one play that he made, I mean, that's it. So I don't even want to talk about him. But let's go and talk more about what Dave said, and the fundamental flaws apparently in Jim Schwartz's system. Because if Rasul Douglas, I mean, Tone, just think about what you just said. If Rasul Douglas comes to excel like this, and could you imagine that Sidney Jones excels like this? Then what does it say about Howie Roseman's drafting? Because if those two players really panned out, and if they were playing just as half as good as apparently they're playing for other teams right now, then maybe the focus wouldn't be so much on Howie Roseman. Because those were high. I mean, they were both second and third round picks. So, if those turned out to be starters, and they did have every chance to be a starter here, it just didn't work out. Now it looks like maybe, and again, obviously they're going to have to play pretty well the next couple of weeks, but now it really looks like, and I think this is something that we've always known, and certainly Coach Dave has already known, that Schwartz's scheme is complete crap. And, maybe these really good players they just can't excel because maybe they're in the wrong system. Again, we're all guessing, but based on if these two guys continue to keep playing, it's sort of going to put the focus away from Howie Roseman and put it more towards Jim Schwartz. So I think the biggest problem right now is not if the Eagles can scrap, because you know what, Pittsburgh is a solid team and they threw up some points on them and they're scoring points and it looks like their offense is clicking. I think the biggest problem right now is the defense, and the facts that they didn't address these gaping holes all over, and just teams are completely just doing whatever they want with them. So I think that's the biggest problem right now.
That's a great point. Great point about the Howie Roseman deal, because what if those guys do pan out? What if they pan out? What if they go on? And what does that say? Does that mean that the talent was always there? Does that mean that maybe they did draft the right guy, but unfortunately we don't have the coaching staff to put him in the proper position? And the one coach that probably is the best that we have in Jeff Statlin, who is the offensive line coach, is making his money right now, because these late round picks, we'll get to Jordan Mailata in a little bit, but these guys are playing very well. Even guys really like even Driscoll's playing well.
Really well.
Right. So, I mean, that says a lot about coaching is huge. Coaching is huge. I know a lot of people. Andrew's checking in. Another depressing Sunday. Howie needs to get Le'Veon Bell. DJ Chunko, what's up, DJ? Talking about Le'Veon Bell. We're going to get to that Le'Veon Bell question in a second. But John, you're the next the next mix of the trifecta here. Okay, what are your thoughts on this Philadelphia Eagles team right now?
Well, Wentz. I hope it was a corner that he turned, not this week against the Steelers, but even the week prior. He played much better. He did not have a good game, but he had some good throws. The one thing he's not stepping into his throws.
Yeah,
you watch it. That's the biggest problem for him right now. He's not stepping into his throws. Is this a la Carson Palmer back when he had his knee injuries?
Ooh,
we always say that it takes a year for you to get back to have that comfortability in the pocket. All right. And there's been a lot of offensive line changes. We know that they don't have the receiver weapons. I mean, can it just take him a year and a half to get back to that point? He looks good. I don't know. I'm still 50-50 on him right now. Long term, I like him. I don't know if it's just stepping up into the pocket. I don't know. Sometimes like he's just too indecisive. But he's battled the past 2 weeks. Something that, I think he's battled well. So as for Carson Wentz, hopefully he can keep it up. Pittsburgh's a tough defense, period.
Tough, very tough. And he played very scrappy.
Exactly. And truthfully, one of the most impressive stats is probably the 4 carries for 11 yards. That means that he didn't just try to check down and say, oh, there's nothing open, let me try to run, which is what he does. And that'll get you by some mediocre teams, but it's not going to win you ball games against good teams.
No, and it's even a better point. And great points, but you know what? Just to touch more on that point, John, is the receivers weren't getting any separation. He didn't really have. If you watch the film, there was a few, but he made this. The reason why they scored points was more on Wentz than it was on anybody else. He definitely came around, no question about it.
Yep.
And his happy feet can be attributed to the shakeup on the offensive line, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not comfortable because you're looking at the guys in front of you, and you just met them for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. They just picked the other guy up at a Home Depot last week. Exactly. That's what they're dealing with.
Well, and I just wanted to real quick touch on other points. Jason Peters, look, call it what it is. You're in the middle of an NFL season in a crazy year. I'm keeping Jason Peters. Look, where I put him is irrelevant. At this stage of the game, you're signed, you're on the roster, and you are going to have attrition at every position. Jason Peters, look, you're here. That's it. I'm keeping my offensive lineman. You can't give up on a guy. You can't say, "Oh, forget about Jason Peters." It has nothing to do with is he the left tackle? Does he start? Does he start on the side? It doesn't matter. You need that body.
I understand that point. My point is that he can never start again for us. You can't start him if Jordan Mailata is healthy. If Herbrig is healthy, you have to play the kids to see if they can play.
Well,
he can only play if there's injuries. That's it.
Possibly. There's 5 offensive lineman positions, and you have to evaluate Jason Peters versus each of them.
Look, think about seniority, or you've been at your job, you've been at your company for a while, or whatever the situation is, and then you got some rookie that just came in, and you were there through a Super Bowl, you're there for 10 years, and it's a pride thing too, and we don't know what they're doing in the locker room. We don't know if Doug Peterson is leaning more towards let's follow Peters because he's a veteran and the veterans lead the way. I mean, it's so hard to say what goes on. So when you talk about what should be done, absolutely. I mean, Dave said it. I mean, Jason Peters should not be starting. He's clearly hurting the team more than he's helping. Sorry. He may be helping on the intangibles when he's, coaching Jordan and some of these other young players. He definitely needs to be a part of what's happening, but I would definitely agree that, he's causing more problems than he's solving being on the field. That's for sure. And I'm surprised we haven't seen the 50, false starts and those flags. I mean, he finally figured that out because that was all last year. 2 false starts a game, and then he just gets a pass because he's Jason Peters. Why does everybody get a pass? And why does Jeffrey Lurie get a pass? Nobody's ever talking about him.
I don't think he gets a pass, though, because I think it's overrated. I think it's overanalyzed. I think the false starts are very overanalyzed, in my opinion. I think that if you look around, we watch it because we're watched here, but if you go through the NFL, you mean to tell me that there aren't other left tackles or right tackles out there getting false starts out of their mind? I mean, listen, it's not like it's killing us, right? It happens.
A veteran?
Yes. Andre Whitworth, man, check him out. Okay, he gets a lot of false starts.
In the game when it has happened for us, it just seems like it's a highlighted point of the game where we don't expect like a veteran to make that move.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
That causes us a problem. That seems to be one of the highlights on Jason Peters. Listen, I agree with John and Mike. You well said that he can be a part of the team. You just have to analyze and evaluate your younger players here. And let me ask you, all 3 of you, are the Eagles a Super Bowl team right now?
No.
What?
That's right.
No.
Exactly right. So you cannot go forward not knowing what you have for the future. And that's how you do it. Your older players now have to take a back seat, and you have to figure out what you have to go forward. We need to know.
They should pack it in.
You have to draft a left tackle or not. You need to know that.
I think, and you know what, Dave, I think you're right. You need to know that. But look at that. I mean, look at this, and this is breakdown. This is from Baldy's breakdown, and you guys can look at this. I muted this so we could talk over it. I mean, you just watch. This is a rather large human being. This is T.J. Watt, one of the best defensive players in all of football, and he's a road grader, man. I mean, look, that was one arm. Like with both, just stay down, Mel. Just stay down, he's saying.
Wow.
I mean, that's huge.
Wow.
Right? I mean, we haven't seen that. I'm going to say a name. We haven't seen guard play or offensive line play like that since John Runyon. Okay? With that kind of toughness, right? This kid is huge. And we've talked about this. Jeff Statlin is known for transforming guys, whether it be from a guard position to a tackle position, whether it be again undrafted rookie 7th round pick, and here he comes in, and this guy looks like he could start. I mean, we had a guy back in the day, if you guys will remember, in King Dunlap, right? Everybody was in love with King Dunlap, right? And if you remember, he didn't play too well here, but then he went to the San Diego Chargers, and he was their starting left tackle for like 5 years.
Yep.
I was playing at a really high level. So, I mean, this is huge. I listen, Jordan Mailata, and Dave, props you because Dave, you have since last year, man, you were hyping this guy up. You've seen it, you talked about it, and listen, he's getting a chance to play, and it takes a while, right? This is a guy who's never played football before, right? And that's what's more amazing. When you have a guy who's never played football and you can teach him the cadence, you can teach him the hand movements, you can teach him hit the foot movements. I mean, everything that you're starting from scratch. I hate to say it's like, unfortunately, like a kid or a guy who got in a car accident and eventually he's 40 years old and all of a sudden he has to learn how to tie his shoes again.
He never looked at a playbook. He doesn't know anything, and he turns him into this. I mean, I think you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg of what the possibility is for this kid. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
At times.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, though, when you look at Howie's track record of making late round draft picks, and the value that he finds, coming off the practice squad and these walk-on players, and how many stories do you have there? Of
exactly.
the things that work out well. So you almost, it's funny that we're touching on this, and I know it always goes back to him, but I'll tell you what, man, again, I'm going to go back to this, and I know this is a shot in the dark, but if you're starting to get some stellar play, specifically out of Rasul Douglas and out of Sidney Jones, then we're going to have to start asking a lot of questions about the scheme of Jim Schwartz. Not that we don't ask questions anyway, because basically the defense is Swiss cheese. It's garbage. It's terrible. The scheme is horrible. Nobody likes it. Nobody's ever liked it. Yet the guy is still there every year upon year upon year. So anyway, a little bit back on the Jordan. I went a little bit off on a tangent. As you can see, I think I don't like Jim Schwartz as much as Dave doesn't. But to go back to the offensive line, I mean, this kid really looks like he's going to be able to turn into something. And you know what? Sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to interrupt you on that previous point, but I did ask a question, and I don't think you heard me. So when you say that we should just evaluate all these young offensive guys, see who do we have on the offensive line, do you think that we should just pack it in for the season? We're going nowhere?
No, I don't think you pack it in, but I think the young players, they get first dibs on whether or not they're starting or not. They get more looks than anybody else. That's just my opinion. They're not a Super Bowl contender, and the young guys, specifically up at the offensive line, you need to find out whether or not we have to draft kids. You should be drafting them anyway, but you need to see if the guys we have can play. And that's how you do it. That's how we watched Andy Reid build a program here. He would draft 2 to 3 offensive linemen, it seemed like, every year. And then you find out if they can play or not by playing them. And then once you get a cohesive unit, that's your group. That's you're the old adage for football, right? Everything's one up front on the offensive defensive line. And
no doubt.
My point. Tony, let me read you something real quick from NBC Sports on how good is Jeff Statlin. Consider this, it says, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Evan Mathis, and Brandon Brooks played a combined 14 years before being coached by Jeff Statlin and never made a Pro Bowl. They played a combined 20 seasons under Statlin and have made 11 Pro Bowls.
There you go.
He's amazing, man.
Amazing. He's going to get poached sooner or later.
Yeah,
we already know that's coming.
Sooner.
Hopefully we don't change him into a defensive coordinator like Juan Castillo, but let's not go down that route. But listen.
We should do a stiff coach list.
Andre checked in, and he's giving me to the next segue here because I just want to ask: Did Zach Ertz quit playing football? Does he still play football for the Philadelphia Eagles?
See, Andre, see what you did? You got them all upset now.
I did because, and listen, and it's right on. Listen, I had it. It's like, did Zach Ertz quit? I'm curious. And, for all the people that want to take Zach's back, you need to do me a favor and watch some game film, dude. You need to watch the game film. He is playing like a straight bitch. That's what he's playing like. And you know what? Maybe it's this contract situation. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't feel. I don't know what it is. But guess what? If you want to be held to that stature of where you want to be paid, then you need to bring it, bro. You need to bring it better than this. Okay? Same goes for Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox been on a milk carton for 4 weeks. He's talking about he wants to be like Aaron Donald. Well, guess what? You're not even in the league right now, Fletch. Not even in the league. You need to stop
but he's
chasing girls
double
on
teamed
Instagram.
all the time. That's what I
What's
always
that?
hear, Tony. He's always double teamed, Fletcher Cox. I hate that
Don't you hate
excuse.
hearing that?
I can't stand that.
Oh, and you think Aaron Donald's not double teamed? Aaron Donald's in Dominican Sue when he was a beast in Detroit. Was he not double teamed? Nah, dude, he was just taking them on. He was just taking them on.
I was watching Aaron
No
Donald this weekend, and all I thought of was Coach Dave talking about how Aaron Donald is the most dominant player in the game, at least on the defensive side.
He might be right.
How did he do, John?
Yeah, he did spectacular.
I think, and I remembered when Coach Dave was saying that, I was like, I'll tell you what, man, he is a freak of nature. He is Dave. Dave, Dave is going to need to host this show because Dave is just one-upping me on everything, man. I love it.
I don't want to do it.
You're already conceded, huh? Look, Andrew's so pissed off right now. He goes, yo, losing for Lawrence, I'm in. He already wants to start losing for Trevor Lawrence. So Andrew's already talking about the future, man.
Maybe the Eagles need a process.
Yeah,
we need a process.
Wentz, Hurts, Lawrence. I mean, what's it, the Philadelphia, the Cleveland Browns now, dude? No.
I agree. Andre says, can we talk about the elephant in the room? Carson is not comfortable with the Ertz situation. He doesn't have confidence. He will be there for him in a game, hence a problem in the passing game. It's a good point. I mean, they're definitely boys. When we were able to run 2 tight end offenses, we were having some success. We don't have Peters or Ertz playing at a Pro Bowl level.
Maybe there's some jealousy there because Carson got paid and his boy Ertz didn't. Again, let's try to look at maybe some of the scenarios that aren't maybe obvious on the surface and try to dig down and imagine what possibly could be happening. I know 2 weeks ago we talked about Carson and Ertz being really good friends out off the field and everything else. It sure looks like that he doesn't care and he's not getting any separation. It doesn't look like he's trying. He's not doing what he normally does. Again, who knows? Maybe he's playing hurt. I mean, we don't know, but whatever's going on, if this guy is trying to get a contract, there's pretty much no discussion of whether or not he should be mentioned in the same breath as Kelsey and Kittle at this point. And that's the kind of money he wants. And I wouldn't pay him.
No. Listen, he gave up a deal, man. Zach Ertz gave up a deal before Andre Hooper got paid. Zach Ertz got offered an extension. He gave it up. Right, he gave it up. So don't give me those little baby tears. Don't boo-hoo now. You gave it up. So guess what? You need to keep playing then, right?
John, you got a point. I know you do. Let's hear it. You don't agree?
No, the only thing I don't agree about is when you're a professional athlete, you may not be happy. And I mean, there are some of them that like take a sourpuss face on the field, but I don't believe that Wentz or Ertz are those type of guys, like I just think that, look, they're professional athletes and they want to go out there and they want to win. They won a Super Bowl. Whether Wentz actually participated is not the point, but they won a Super Bowl. Okay, dude, Ertz is a player. Who do you think defenses are covering? Like Ertz is not open. And I already told you, I mean, for the past, not you, Mike, because this is not on you, but for the past 3 weeks, like Wentz has been tentative, and like he was like pinpoint hitting Ertz down the seam. If Ertz loses half of a step and Wentz is like a half a second shy on pulling the trigger, that's all you need to make a beautiful thing go to a disaster. Yeah, and I really think it's both sides. I don't think it has anything to do with contracts or relationships, let alone like, okay, there was a Deshaun Jackson sighting at one point. There was a Alshon's coming back. But, I mean, what they're working with now Wentz knows he does, and that's the problem. Wentz isn't even really taking his second and third looks. He's going to, why did Fulgham get as many catches as he did? Because Ertz is the only weapon that any defense really cares about, and everybody else just kind of sits there and, accepts it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So defenses are keying on Ertz. Ertz is can't get separation. and and Fulgham got separation, and Carson found them. Right.
I mean, I don't even know, but I don't even know how much as Fulgham got separation. Like he may have got it once.
He made
or
a crazy
twice.
catch. Yeah.
But it truthfully, and I had it in my notes, it's really no different than Chase Claypool. In reality, it's the fourth receiver.
Yeah.
You know, it's Fulgham. It's
Right.
Chase Claypool. Like you have all these other guys on the Steelers offense that you have to worry about. Oh, he got you once. It doesn't matter. The game plans to get it to Juju or whoever else. Oh, they got you twice. Game plans to get you Juju. You know what I mean? And they do the run. And granted, the one where he was mismatched with the linebacker. I mean, that was just terrible call. Defensive coordinator. I mean, we could.
Sure.
That was just. But I mean, that is one of those touchdowns. But it's the hot hand. How many times do we see it? We see it in NBA basketball. Who did the Sixers let crush them like in that last? I don't know, one of those games. It was like, dude, how do you not stop this dude? Like, I forget who. Tony, help me out. Who was it?
With what?
The Sixers. The Sixers got crushed by a dude. I forget what game it was. It was like this dude never put up more than like 30 points in a game. And dude put up 60 points.
Andre, help us out.
Come on, I need this because I'm not an NBA guy.
I know Andre
but you
knows.
know what I'm talking.
Dinwiddie. Was it Dinwiddie?
Brooklyn.
Nah.
Maybe. No. See, Andre's got it. TJ Warren.
TJ Warren.
That's what it was.
Andrew, I'm sorry. All right, Andrew, spot on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Nice, Andrew. Nice pull.
But I mean, but it's kind of the same thing. The Steelers didn't react to Fulgham like they should have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they probably didn't think this guy was going to do anything else. You know, I mean,
did you think Claypool was going to do anything else? Do you think Claypool was going to do anything else in all reality?
No, well, I don't know. After the second one, I didn't know what to think anymore. I was just screaming F Jim Schwartz all over my house at the top of my lungs. I don't even know what the guy's name was.
No, look,
he was a nobody until this week. And the Eagles are great at making nobodies look like Pro Bowlers.
Yes.
I'm going to go off on that tangent. How many times have we seen some bum beat the Eagles? I'm not saying he's a bum, John. I know you love the Steelers. He seems like a good,
Claypool?
solid player. Yeah. But
dude, I don't
know anything about the guy.
Offense. I will tell you, if anyone in their right mind that thinks Chase Claypool is going to end up with 14 touchdowns this year are crazy.
How
many fantasy owners grab this guy?
Why
Everybody.
not?
Yeah,
You
you never know.
I'll take a flyer on it.
Dude, let me tell you something. Let me tell you. John,
I'm not talking long term. I'm talking this year. I'm not talking long term.
I get it.
The pedigree of what they drafted, but I will say that was one of my points. Like when we opened the show about, the receivers or whatever, you can't get dirty on Rager and all of a sudden Chase Claypool has a 4 touchdown game and say that, oh, it was the wrong pick. No, it was not necessarily a wrong pick. We're 4 weeks in. Rager's banged up. Claypool had a game. Claypool will not have another 4 touchdown game in the rest of his career.
Well, one second. I have to make a point on this. You say that because you have tunnel vision. You don't realize what we realize. And your team has an unbelievable track record of pulling these receivers out of nowhere. So the fact that he's on Pittsburgh tells me that the guy probably can play football, and this may not be an outlier. This could be more of a consistent. Maybe the guy just broke out. We don't know, but my bet would be on Pittsburgh.
But what all I'm going to say is I'm not saying Chase Claypool cannot run into that number 1 receiver in a couple years.
Right.
I guess I was more on the fantasy realm, which I know this is not our fantasy show. Yes, I like Chase Claypool, and if one of the receivers goes, he steps in and you don't miss a beat. But if you're looking at what is he going to produce like in 2020 when you have Juju, who's done nothing, and don't sleep on him. You got Deontay Johnson. You still got James Washington there. You got Chase Claypool. That's 4 receivers already. We didn't even talk about Eric Ebron.
It's unbelible. And
then Vance McDonald. But I'm just saying, like Chase Claypool, it's like the guy of the week. And is Fulgham any different than Greg Ward 2 weeks ago?
Well, you know what? Who knows? Because I got people telling me, why would I want AJ Green when we got Travis Fulgham? Okay. Right. I got. Listen, I gotta
Actually,
go.
watching AJ Green, I don't know that I want
Right, because
AJ
I hope
Green
they're
either.
listening. And everybody that wanted to troll the Twitter account today, all 13 of you that wanted to throw out, I'm crazy, don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Listen, do me a favor, dude. Do me a favor and go back and look at the statistics. Now, all of a sudden, we don't want AJ Green for a 6th-round pick because we have Travis Fulgham. Are you kidding me?
That's what the city does. They fall in love with people.
Eagles fan card and shred it the hell up right now. Stop. You have no idea what you're talking about. Zero. If somebody comes to you right now and says, give me a 6th-round pick for AJ Green, you say, thank you. Here's your uniform. What do you have to lose? Right?
What number do you want?
Exactly.
That's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
So you were getting trolled on people saying, we have Fulgham because this guy's like the savior now, right?
Yeah.
I just imagine when one person has a great game, the city just anoints the guy. Oh my God, he's going to be the savior, right?
Stop.
Like that stiff Bobby Hoying that we talked about during our.
Yeah, we couldn't wait for him to start.
We couldn't wait for him to start. He was on the front page of the Daily News. Oh, the savior! The next great hope. He stunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, stunk.
Exactly. And
Fulgham is going to stink too. In 2 weeks, you won't hear this guy's name again. And don't get me wrong, if you're listening, Travis, I thought you had a great game. I'm pulling for you, but you were cut from Detroit. Stop. Stop.
I mean, I just don't understand people's logic. They bitch and complain that we have no wide receivers. But then when you have a chance to get somebody, you're telling me, I'm done with the old age, broken down receivers. Bro, he ain't broken down. He's not being used. There's a contract issue right now. He don't want to play right there, and they don't want him. Think about it.
He is a walking ambulance, though. He's a walking ambulance. The running joke with that guy is every time you draft him on fantasy, he burns you, and he burns you bad. Okay, because you're like, I got AJ Green, I'm going to be great. And then what happened? He's always on the injury report.
The soft tissue injuries, too.
Walking ambulance.
Just like Deshaun. It's the same thing, right?
I don't want to
get it.
But a 6th-round pick, yeah, sure.
For a 6th-rounder? It's a no-brainer.
It's a low-risk, high-reward pick.
It's a no-brainer. And John, to kind of piggyback on what Mike was saying about Claypool, I get what you're saying, but you have to look at it from our end where, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm willing to say Jalen Reagor was the wrong pick. I don't care if he's only played one game. Okay, because I'm looking at guys like Justin Jefferson, who should have been the pick. I'm looking at guys like CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb that I have to look at for the next 10 friggin' years. Okay, the next 10 years, because Howie didn't have a set of balls to move up in the draft and grab him. No, because we wanted to wait and get Jalen Hurts. That's what, because we didn't want to give up that 2nd-round pick. Let me ask you guys something that's real fast. Dave, I'll get to you. You're next, I promise. But I want to say one thing. If I told you right now that you had to give up your 2nd-round pick, which is Jalen Hurts, in order to jump up past Dallas with Atlanta, in order to get CeeDee Lamb, would you have done it? Mike, would you have done it?
Yes, I would have done it. But you know what?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But you can't. I would say yes. But then what happens if Carson Wentz gets hurt again? Because he gets hurt every year. Okay, God forbid. I hope he doesn't. But what happens if he does? What happens? That's why they took him, because the guy constantly gets hurt. He lowers his shoulder and runs into safeties and linebackers. He plays reckless. Now he has a head case of a meltdown. You know what? Like you said, Tone, and I thought about it, and I wasn't really agreeing with you when you first said it, but then it resonated with me. Both of them conspired, Peterson and Howie, and they said we need a backup in the case of this guy melts down because we need to save our job. So the thing is, we don't even know if Hurts is going to pan out, but it looks like they needed some kind of insurance policy. When they had these problems with Carson, we'd have been able to solve a lot of other issues. But sorry,
I agree. I do. I agree with that. John, what do you think? John, you're on mute again, buddy. You keep hitting mute. John, I think John's got happy fingers over there. Yeah.
The Hurts pick, look, you do that after a little bit, okay? You take the what's his face
Chase
in
Claypool.
Pittsburgh. The quarterback, Mason Rudolph. You take the Mason Rudolph when you have a 36-year-old quarterback. I'm saying they took him in the 3rd round, like that flyer. No, I'm not drafting Jalen Hurts to back up my franchise quarterback. I will take a veteran if I need someone to step in. That's just me personally.
I agree with John.
Agreed. But why did he do it?
You take Andy Dalton.
But no.
I don't think Doug Peterson wanted that kid. I said it before. There's no way Doug Peterson wanted to give the franchise quarterback a second round pick as a backup quarterback. I just don't agree with it.
So then Howie just makes the picks and he doesn't even tell the coach of what he's doing. It's just Howie's just making all the picks. Like the coach isn't even sitting in the war room when they're all thinking about who we're going to draft. So they're Peterson's out ordering pizzas or whatever he's doing. Howie's just doing whatever he wants. We can't believe that.
I think it comes down to an agreement or a disagreement. Who's got the final say? Does Doug have the final say, or does Howie have the final say?
At the end of the day, Doug Peterson is an offensive-minded coach. Doug Peterson is a decent play caller. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. Knowing that,
used to be
also smart, right? And I think he was giddy with he was intrigued. He was so giddy over the fact that he could have Jalen Hurts on this team, and not to mention that not only is a trick play guy, but as a backup to a guy he's unsure of. Do we have to play the video game? Regress? Progress? His eyes lit up like a crystal ball. Man, he's not happy with Carson Wentz. Say whatever you want. He is not happy with Carson Wentz.
Why would he be?
I agree, which is why they made that pick. That's why they made that pick.
Can I ask about this first round? Just refresh my memory. So CD Lamb was drafted right before the Eagles picked, and they passed on Justin Jefferson, right?
Yes. Justin Jefferson was there.
Right.
And they passed on another guy.
Brandon
Ayuk, by the way.
Well, yes. But Justin Jefferson was there. That was kind of the slated pick for him. And they kind of made
why? Because he was the most polished receiver coming out of the draft. He was the guy who didn't need a playbook. He was the guy who instantly transforms your offense, which is why Minnesota trades Stephon Diggs to Buffalo, because they knew damn well they were getting a kid who could step in right off the bat, and we got some slum, who we got to hope is going to be the next guy, Tyreek Hill. Sorry, Jalen, just saying.
How can you possibly say that? What changed from, because you were happy when you got Rager? Well, maybe not you, Tony,
not me.
But I will tell you that I heard a lot of people talking about the Rager, everything going into the season, talking about the Rager. All right. Everything's fine. He showed up. He had a good week. And I'll tell you what, he got hurt. Okay. Look, just like you get whatever you think preseason going into a year, if you're talking about injury and just kind of somewhat of a disaster on offense, you cannot blame that on the rookie coming in for 4 NFL weeks, or what are we at, 5 NFL weeks, which he didn't even play.
Look, John.
I understand that is the Philly mentality, but I am telling you that it is not. It may be reality, but you have not seen enough of a track record. Wentz has not even played good enough to give CD Lamb an effort to play up to his caliber.
I don't know about
CD Lamb on the Eagles right now. There is no way in heck that CD Lamb looks anything like he does in a Cowboys uniform with the way Wentz has played under center for 5 weeks. I will tell you that right now, hands down.
No way. I can't agree with that at all.
Oh, sorry.
I can't agree with that.
Wentz looks like he's seen his ghosts on the other side of the field.
You still have to draft them. You go and get a veteran quarterback. You don't draft a second-round kid at quarterback when you just paid this guy all this money to be your franchise. You go get him weapons. You go get CeeDee Lamb. You go to Justin Jefferson. You go get an offensive lineman. You go get another running back. You don't go and draft.
Andrew right there. What's Andrew say? I take the wideout from the national championship team before I take a kid from TCU.
Yeah, thank you.
Right?
Seems pretty logical, Andrew. That should have been what happened.
And to John's point, CeeDee Lamb, I get what you're saying, John, and I don't disagree that they might not be shining right away, and that has to do with the offensive line, play call, whatever. But you still got to get the guy the right weapons. You have to get them. We don't have them.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. What if he's good? What if this kid is good? You never know.
But here's the thing. CD Lamb comes in with Amari Cooper and Gallup already there. That's the difference.
It is
That
the
is
difference.
the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference. CeeDee Lamb would have been walking in with Travis Fulgham and
In the way to Philadelphia on his shoulders with scared Wentz behind center.
Listen, I'm going to sum this up.
Good point.
You know what this is? Honestly, here's the difference. I'm going to take two guys, Justin Jefferson and Jalen Reagor. Justin Jefferson is Tyler Boyd. Jalen Reagor is John Ross. That's what that is. Tyler Boyd can play, and he can be a number one. Okay, John Ross is the hype guy because he's fast. He can take defenses to the next level. Well, guess what? I don't need that right now. What I need is a guy that can catch the ball. And I'll tell you what, Carson would love him some Justin Jefferson right now. Say what you want, but Carson does not always like throwing a deep ball. Okay? I know he hasn't played, but there was a reason why you traded for Deshaun Jackson. I get it. I know he hasn't played, but I'm just saying, we didn't know he wasn't going to play then, right? So you take the possession guy. You take the guy, the Alshon Jeffrey guy. That's who you take when you already have the speed guy. And sometimes you can't just have all speed. Can't have all speed. Doesn't work. That's why Sammy Watkins is so good in Kansas City, because he is a big physical receiver to go with Hardman, to go with Tyreek Hill, because they're the speed guys. This team is completely misconstructed.
But don't you think they were expecting to have Jeffries back by now, though? Because he's that guy.
But remember, Mike, they were talking about he wasn't going to be part of this team. They were trying to trade the guy. They didn't want to.
He was about to be a June 1st cut back in the old.
Yeah, but they can't cut him because his contract is it's terrible.
It's ridiculous.
So that's another how that was the worst. That was terrible.
It's not in their best interest.
Yeah, they can't cut him because it would be too much dead weight. But I mean, yeah, that bigger possession guy is the guy that you need. But I don't even think that they're even sold on Deshaun Jackson, because he can't even stay on the field for more than 3 snaps. So that speed thing is out the window. So maybe they just said, you know what, Deshaun Jackson isn't our speed guy. We need a speed option. So maybe we take this kid, the Reagor. You know, could you imagine like a year from now if he just blows up and we just fall in love with the Reagor?
Yeah,
we should just call him the Reagor from now on.
He's going to join Rasul Douglas.
I love it.
They're going to go win a Super Bowl together.
We have our big possession receiver in DK Metcalf.
Oh, no, he did not do that.
I'm done talking Eagles now. I can't, because I'm going to throw up.
Oh, my God, did he go there? Oh,
how does that happen?
How does that happen?
Yeah, but
how does everybody here know who should have been picked? And it never turns out that way. The Eagles are always the smartest people in the room, and they pick the craziest things. And it always happens around the first and second round, right? It seems like the Eagles from the third round and up, they do a pretty decent job. At least Andy Reid did, right? And Andy Reid had some really good picks in the first and second round also. But it seems like the bombs are really in the first and the second round. I don't know.
They really are. They're not good. They're not.
Didn't DK Metcalf go in the second round?
Yes.
And didn't New England Patriots take in Kill Harry before DK Metcalf?
I think they did.
Yes. Yeah. So all 32 NFL teams passed on DK Metcalf equally. Every team had a shot at him. So I'm just saying, look, you guys are so into Philly, and you are so hard on Philly.
You're right.
Every single NFL team passed on him. So like, you can't start blaming dudes on that.
He's doing his job tonight.
Yeah. John, here's how I was raised. Mind your own plate. Our plate is in front of
it.
Wow. Hey, Dave, my plate is full and I'm hungry. I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what my plate looks like.
Look, Andrew's a firefighter. What's the worst?
Danny Watkins.
Danny Watkins.
God, that was the worst. Real quick, and I just thought of this player. Who's the player that was absolutely horrendous in our secondary, then goes to New England and starts for like 5 or 6 years? What was the name of that dude? Patrick something.
Eric Rowe.
Yeah, him. No, it was another guy. Patrick Chung. Patrick
Chung.
Yeah, but so 2 of these guys, Eric Rowe and Chung, were both in the Schwartz system and leaving the Excel, right?
Well,
yep.
Just saying. I know we're going back a couple of segments.
No,
right?
but it's right.
No,
it's
but
right.
I think it's a reasonable mention that these two guys excel.
You know
too.
what you
I
got
completely agree.
when you guys were talking about Jason Peters, and it was relevant, but James Harrison, being a Steeler fan, is exactly what came up. James Harrison wasn't good enough in coverage to start for the Steelers defense, which is why he wasn't getting playing time, got disgruntled. Patriots pick him up. He wins a freaking Super Bowl with the Patriots because the Steelers didn't think he was good enough in pass coverage, and he wanted to be the guy. Well, Bill Belichick said, yeah, come on board. All I need you to do is rush the passer.
Dude,
So-
I remember New England grabbing that stiff Jabbar Gaffney. We had Jabbar Gaffney. He was like a number 1 wide receiver in New England.
Dude, he was not the only one.
Philly. What's that?
He was not the only one. There was
I know, but
tons
it's crazy.
of them.
Think about it. I remember watching highlights of Jabbar Gaffney going, what the hell is going on?
He was an Eagle before that, too.
Oh, man.
The 1 year.
You know what? Final thought. In order for you guys to, or sorry, not you guys, in order for players to make the NFL, they have to be unbelievably good. I mean, think about the small amount, right? The small percentage that actually gets in the NFL. So all these guys can play. And it's so easy to sit here and say, this guy's a stiff, he stinks. Philip just checked in earlier and said hindsight's always 20/20 on draft picks, and he's right. We have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, Philip, okay? We don't know. We're just talking, all right? Nobody really knows. And I'm sure if I was calling the shots to making draft picks, I probably would have screwed up 5 out of 7. That's for sure, right? But the point is, maybe these guys are just really good, and it really falls back on the coaching and the scheme. We should, probably think more about that, I guess.
That's good. Listen, that's a really good final thought so we can move on, because I'm going to give myself a heart attack when we talk about the Eagles. But before we go on, let's do a little Eagles trivia. We throw this out every week, little trivia question. And again, this is for everybody. Don't Google this. Try your best to try to answer this, because the answer is rather unique. Okay, so right now we're going to go Eagles trivia. In 2014, 2 Eagles returned kickoffs over 100 yards for a touchdown. Josh Huff, the infamous Josh Huff, was one. Who was the other? I'm not giving any hints. We're not going to go by positions, but somebody else in 2014 scored a 100-yard touchdown for kickoff for the Philadelphia Eagles other than the infamous Josh Huff. I wonder what Josh Huff's doing right about now. I don't know.
I don't think he's playing football.
No. What's worse, Jay Joel? Oh, look at that one. Phil's checking in. That's a good question. We move on to get some NBA stuff. What's worse, Jay Joel instead of DK or Larry Hughes over Paul Pierce?
I'm going with the latter of that one, Phil.
Wow. That's a good one.
Paul Pierce should have been a Sixer.
Listen, if Paul Pierce is a Sixer, I think we win an NBA championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Larry Brown's coaching them?
Who made that pick? Billy? It was Billy King?
Yes, it was Billy King.
Oh, he should have been on the stiff list.
Yeah, Billy King stealing money in the NBA, bro. Stealing money.
Grand larceny. He should be doing 15-year bid for just.
Yeah, well, guess what? That's why he's doing sports talk on WIP right now. Just saying.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's in the morning. He's doing like the morning show talk. Billy King. Our buddy Rick. What's up, Rick? Checking in. Reno Mahe. That is not right. Reno Mahe.
That's a really good guess, though.
Andre checking in with Agnew.
Nice.
Wow. No, I love these polls. No, that is not. Paul Pierce and Nowitzki. That's right. Yo, think about that. Yeah, I'm with Phil. I'm with Dave all day.
That's upsetting.
I'm definitely going with the latter right there.
That's upsetting.
Definitely going with the latter. You know what? Real fast before we move on to the NBA. Andrew's checking in. Lito Shepherd. No, not Lito Shepherd.
Good guess though.
Good guess though. Lito had some nice runbacks back in the day. You guys watch the game Monday night, and I really, Drew Brees to me has definitely lost it. And I said in fantasy start Justin Herbert over Drew Brees because I just listen, guys. I don't see. I feel like I'm watching like slow-mo when I watch Phillip Rivers play right now. And Drew Brees just does not have the arm strength. Are they both done right now? Are they both washed up? And are they first ballot Hall of Famers? Dave, I'll go to you first. What do you think, buddy?
I'm going to say they're definite first ballot Hall of Famers. Are they washed up? it's such an early part of the season. I mean, Philip Rivers is learning a new offense. I'm giving some benefit of the doubt type of thing. I like Philip Rivers, and he's like a total workaholic. Same with Drew Brees. I just think that it's too early to tell if they're washed up. They definitely are on the later part of their career, as they're both like old as hell, right? In football terms. Definitely first round Hall of Famers. I think their numbers are amazing. And I know it's the passing error. I know that, a lot of Drew Brees stats are inflated because of that reason, but they're definitely Hall of Fame quarterbacks, in my opinion.
I know it's early, and I know he's learning a new offense, but I'm looking specifically at the balls he's throwing. And they have no velocity on them. They look like they're barely reaching guys. And I'll talk about Philip Rivers. Now, Drew Brees, on the other hand, we have to remember, Drew Brees, they had to implement a brand new offense last year because of Drew Brees' regression of his arm strength. Sean Payton had to redo an entire playbook because Drew Brees couldn't handle it. How many deep balls have you seen Drew Brees throw? More than 40 yards this year. Not many. Can't do it anymore. Can't do it. Now, I love Drew Brees. Now, here's the thing, Dave. First ballot Hall of Famers, absolutely. Philip Rivers, though, I don't know. I don't know if he's first ballot.
No.
Right, Mike, what do you think, man?
No, not Rivers isn't first ballot, I think. Are they both done? Yeah, I mean, it looks like, they're at their end, they're at the end of their careers, and they've both had unbelievable careers. But obviously, Drew Brees is he's first round. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. He has, he's got a bowl.
Right.
Is that the deciding factor? I guess it always seems to come down to that. But I think that they're both in that stage right now where they're ready to hang it up.
But that and Pro Bowls, typically Hall of Famers go on. How many Pro Bowl selections they have?
Right.
Their stats.
John, what do you think, buddy?
It's close.
Brees is in, Rivers is not in first ballot. No.
Yep.
And we see how it goes. I agree with Mike.
Yep.
The Super Bowl is what does it. We see, not the Dan Marino, but that is John Elway before he won the Super Bowl. There's a lot of guys. That Super Bowl means something. Eli Manning versus Philip Rivers, who was a better quarterback?
Listen, that's a whole show.
Philip Rivers.
That's a whole show.
I'm just saying, you have one with 2 Super Bowls that's going to get into the Hall, and you have one with none that will get in, I guess.
You got 2 rings.
Yeah, but who's the better quarterback?
Listen, Dave,
Rivers.
I am not going to disagree with you, but you have 2 rings.
It's the bowl, man. It's the ring.
David Tyree's helmet.
It's still another ring. Right? It's still another ring. At the end of the day, it's still another ring.
We're both saying that they're both in. It's just a matter of question of when.
Well, I think they're both in. It's a matter of when they get in, right? I just don't think Phil's going to be a first ballot. I think he will get in. I just don't think he'll be first ballot. And Rick, you're right. Jigsaw needed more alcohol. Absolutely. I've been drinking too much. And get to some of these guesses. James Thrash. Andrew, that's a great name. James Thrash. It is not James Thrash. It's a great name. Andre second in Sproles. I don't know if he was on the team in 2014. I don't think he was. I don't think he was.
Sproles was my guess. I would have said
not Darren Sproles. Thomas made Drew Brees 3-step drop look like a thing of beauty. Without him, he has no chemistry with the other receivers with those routes. That's one thing. He's starting to gain some a little bit with Emmanuel Sanders, but he's definitely missing some Michael Thomas. What's that, Dave?
I agree with Andre. Your favorite target is gone, and you have to find that chemistry with somebody else and quickly. How many times does he target Michael Thomas during a game?
100%. You're right. Andrew says Carell Buckhalter. There's another name. God. Well, not Carell Buckhalter. Again, before we move on, I will display it again so everybody who's joining in now can actually see it again. Eagles trivia, 2014, 2 Eagles return kickoffs over 100 yards for a touchdown. Josh Huff was one. who was the other.
I have a guess, but I cheated. I looked at the 2014 roster before we started the show.
See?
Oh.
Look at that. So keep your picks till later. Let's see if somebody gets it first. Obviously, I know who it is, but
I won't say my guess. It's a guess. I didn't look at I don't know the answer, but it's a guess.
Yeah, keep that guess. Keep that guess. Now let's only because Andrew checked in about. He says get rid of JT Realmuto.
I don't think they're going to have to do anything. He's going to leave anyway.
Andrew, I don't know about that. He wants $200 million. Okay, I agree. I have no problem with that. Give him what he wants, man. Give him what he wants. Let him play, right?
Stupid money.
In my opinion, he's gone. Okay, I think you guys listen. If we're haggling right now, and I guess you heard. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I think if you heard, John Middleton speak about revenues and this and that, I think the guy's gone. And again, we just talked about earlier in the segment, guys like CeeDee Lamb that we have to watch, DK Metcalf that we have to watch. We're going to have to watch JT Realmuto in a Mets uniform, guys. I'm telling you that right now. JT Realmuto is going to be a Met. He's going to be a New York Met. We're going to watch him for like 20 games a year. And he's going to be catching Syndergaard and DeGrom. Oh, it's ridiculous. But it's a shame, man. And it's a tribute to this terrible, terrible ownership in Philadelphia.
Stupid money.
Yep. Look at that. Like Al said, what JT? I don't care. Exactly. Al, what's up, buddy? Checking in. Exactly.
We want to.
What did I miss? Oh, you missed the whole. Man, you missed the whole Eagle segment, man. The whole Eagle segment. That's all right. But listen. You know what? I'll give you the trivia question before we move on, because we got some anniversaries we're going to talk about. Again, this is what you missed, the Eagles trivia question, okay? See if you get 2014 two Eagles return kickoffs over 100 yards for touchdown. Josh Huff was one, and who was the other? I'll tell you what, for next episode, we got to bring in and see where Josh Huff is, because I want to. Is he selling cars? What's he doing right now? He's bagging groceries at Gennardi's. He's doing something. He's definitely not playing football.
No, didn't he go to the U?
Yes.
Wasn't he a U guy? Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He went to Oregon.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He was Chip Kelly's boy.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, and then you got Andy McFailure. Why? Well, don't worry, man. We're you can catch us on replay as well, man. Al, Al's gonna like this segment because we're gonna transition into basketball real fast. But couple anniversaries, guys. Something that I did not know. So today, I want to ask you guys this. Look at this guy, Joselio Hansen. Well, I guess that was last week's answer.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, Will sticking it with last week's answer. Nice. I like it. Willing to go ham. I love that name. Willing to go ham. I'm a ham guy too, by the way. Ham, egg, and cheese all day.
Oh yeah.
I love ham, egg, and cheese. But the '93 Phillies anniversary, winning the pennant. Obviously that team will go down in history as one of the most dysfunctional.
We were talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
Right?
Great, yeah.
I mean, just a great time to be a Phillies fan. Ended in agony again with Joe Carter. Okay. I mean, we could talk about that all day long. Okay. But this is why we need to keep JT Realmuto here, because we need to have these moments again. But I want to ask you guys something, because we've seen a lot of pitchers in Philadelphia. And, a guy who, for me, is very underrated in Kurt Schilling, who was unbelievable here. And people always say that Steve Carlton was the guy. He was number one. Andrew checking in. You're right, Andrew. Rest in peace, Kim Batiste, as well. Yeah, it's unfortunate he passed away. Loved watching him win. I think he won game one. He made that blooping error at third.
That's right.
Right, and then he won. I was actually at that game, which was pretty cool. I remember. And Doc Holliday. Is he the best pitcher ever to wear a Phillies uniform? And this is an interesting question, because obviously he wasn't here forever, right? But guys, he was so dominant, right? So dominant. I mean, he was everything plus more that we wanted. And here, I'm going to play this. It gives us a little break for our voice. It's only a minute long, but this is his no-hitter that he plays in the postseason with every out. It's amazing.
3 years old, Brian, 6'6", 230 out of Arvada, California. He's had 11 years in the big leagues now. Former first-round pick back in '95 by Toronto, but this is his first postseason game.
Brandon Phillips leads off, and Roy Halladay about ready to cash in on something he's waited for his entire career. And away we go. A bouncing ball to Jimmy Rollins. One pitch, one out in Philadelphia. As Halladay strikes him out. 0-2 on Cabrera. Man, oh man. He looks every bit ready here tonight as he backdoors Scott Rowland. Got him. The 0-2, a bouncer, Ruiz, in time! Roy Halladay has thrown a no-hitter!
Unbelievable. I mean, it still gives you goosebumps, man. When you think about it, it still gives you goosebumps, right? I mean, Andre says, great question. Andrew saying Carlton over Doc, and a lot of people are going to say Carlton over Doc, right? Again, Harper's going to be on the hot seat. They don't. You're right. He's going to be on fire, right? Not on the hot seat, but he's going to be fired up. He's going to want to trade. Andre, when he said Scott rolling down, I was hyped. But guys, John, I have to go to you first, man. Doc Halladay or Steve Carlton? Because I guess we could just say that because they're the two names everybody's going to go by. Is it Carlton or is it Doc? Greatest Phillies pitcher ever.
For me, look, Carlton is Phillies. Doc, I don't know. I got Blue Jays ties with him. Like, and what he did there. So, I mean, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so dominant. And truthfully, like when you brought up Doc Halladay, it's the three. I mean, it was, to me, it was the Schilling, the Halladay, and the Cliff Lee, all in the same type of realm that, weren't here their entire careers. But, I mean, they were so instrumental on what the Phillies did.
It's a travesty that Doc didn't get a ring here, man. It's a travesty. It really is.
That game,
ring, wow.
No hitter in the playoffs, man. I mean,
that's why I say it, because I understand he wasn't here, but what he did, how dominant he was, perfect game, no hitter in the friggin' playoffs. You kidding me? Wow. Mike, is he the best ever?
I guess it's easy to say that he is, but when you look at what Steve Carlton didn't he win how many Cy Young awards did he win? He won a bunch, man.
That's a good question.
3, 4, 5, I don't know, something. I mean, it's going back to an era where I don't know how much you know about baseball back in the 70s or 80s. I mean, I know some, most of what I can remember as a kid, but I would definitely do some research on that because I think Carlton was he was in the elite of pitchers for like a decade or more. And not that Halladay wasn't, but he put up some monster numbers that it's easy to forget about, So I think it's, the sexy pick would be to say it was Doc Halladay because we watched what he did, because it's still fresh in our mind and how amazing he was. And for the fact that, obviously and how he had passed in the way that he did, I think we'll always have a special heart for him. No question. But
I completely agree.
We got to dig back into the records because Carlton was he was dominant, man.
He was the guy who was before our time, right? That we really didn't see no footage of.
Right, exactly.
Right,
yes.
And it was a different style of game back then, right? It was a different style of matchup.
Yeah, did they even have TVs back then? Now we have everything else, but I don't even, people don't even remember anything. Exactly. It was just it's a relic of a past time. But if we dig into the stats, I think we'll all be surprised. He was a beast.
How about those 4 years they were in great time?
Great times, Al.
It was sold out.
Al,
so true, man. That was a time where people actually talked about, and we said this last week, but they thought, could the Phillies overtake the Eagles, which we knew that wasn't possible. But they were really damn close, man. They were really damn close. But those 4 years were electric. They were electric.
Oh, they were great. We go down to Clearwater every year for almost 5 years straight, and it was amazing. I saw Doc pitch at Clearwater I mean, I just saw so much, and the vibe and the electricity in the Phillies, at the stadium, man, at Citizens Bank, it was amazing. Had season
really
tickets
was.
for years, partial game plans, and just couldn't wait to go down. We had the 17 game plan, and we would go, and I remember we would be so hyped, especially the year, was it 2009, where when we got Cliff Lee. Remember how hype everybody was when we got Cliff Lee, and it was just on another level. It was on another level.
And then you bring in Pedro. You bring out Pedro out, off the scrap heap. Pedro comes in and pitches fantastic.
Still
pitches
had gas.
fantastic.
He was still throwing gas. Is that the same year that they grabbed Hunter Pence?
No, I think it was the following. Dave, was it the following year?
Yeah, that was the 2009. They played the Yankees in the World Series and lost.
Yeah.
Hunter Pence came
Matsui.
after that. Matsui crushed it.
Yeah, thanks, Matsui.
Yeah, I was at Game 4 when Brad Lidge blew it.
Yeah, Brad. They gave us He was not the same guy.
He was definitely not the same guy because he was off the cream and the clear.
Yeah.
His neck was the size of a tree trunk. He was probably rubbing it right into his neck. He was just gassing people.
Minute Maid Park is still traveling right now.
They need to bring back the juice. We should start some kind of a petition because that's when baseball was great. 100%.
I'm in it. Andrew says that 80 series was epic. I was only 2. Andre saying Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz, best baseball version of Big Three of all
there
time.
You go.
I don't think we get any arguments there.
You can't argue with that.
Right? Right?
Dynasty.
Yeah. Right? Bobby Cox.
Steve
Mazzoni.
Steve Carlton, Tony, go back to Doc.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, man.
I mean, Carlton was, I'm pretty sure, was a 4-time Cy Young Award winner. And he was everything for the Phillies, which was interesting. He wasn't homegrown either, though. He was from a trade from the St. Louis Cardinals. So similar to Doc, we got him from another program, but Carlton was electric as well. I was only a baby watching it, 6 years old. I don't remember much either, but I mean, a lot of highlights and stuff, and Carlton was the man. Hard to pick, though, because Doc was fun to watch. Although I'm one of the odd ones that said I would rather watch Cliff Lee pitch than Doc Holliday.
Wow.
I mean, if I had a choice, I'd love watching Cliff Lee pitch. I just loved watching. He was a lefty, crafty, moved quick. The games were quick. I don't know. That was just my opinion.
No, I like that. By the way, 4 Cy Youngs. 4 Cy Young Award. 1972, 1977, 1980, and 1982.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah. Dave, that's a really good – I like that. And we got about 10 minutes left. And before we segue, I'm going to ask you guys something. John, hold that point. I'll let you do that before you answer. But after John does his point, what you guys think about this? Dave said, if you could watch, and this is ad-libs, not on the sheet, if you could watch one pitcher pitch a 9-inning game, who would it be? And it could go back from the 1900s to right now. Pick a guy, whoever it was. Who would you sit front row and watch and basically dissect the entire pitch count of this pitcher? Think about that. John, go. What are we going to say? Is he on mute again?
You're on
John,
mute.
you're on mute again, bro.
Shut up, dude. How's that?
It's got to be a Pittsburgh thing. Go ahead, bro.
No, look. If I could go back and watch anyone, I'm still. I mean, he was in my top when we had our all-time fantasy draft of every league. Nolan Ryan, I'm sorry you pitched that many no-hitters. I want to go and I want to watch all these. I want to watch how he pitched. I want to and how it. You can't digest how it translates to this game when you're in a different era. But he was so dominant. Nolan Ryan. Oof. I mean, he's the one.
Can I watch him pitch and then a sucker punch Robin Ventura too? Can I see both of that happen?
No, you know what? I want some of that ESPN guru math, showing a Nolan Ryan pitch on a Bryce Harper. You know what I mean? And see cool, what would happen. Kind of like the Rocky Balboa. that whatever movie they had.
I like that. I like that. Al wants to know. Hold up. Al says, "Who's that guy in the Steelers jersey?" That's Pittsburgh John. He's got this Pittsburgh clock. Andre, I'll tell you all about him.
It's not a clock, dude. For the
looks like a clock.
90th time, it's not a clock.
That's not a clock. It looks like a clock.
No, if it was a clock, I wouldn't even hang it up, dude. Because
it's not a Doc Johnson clock, is it?
John, what time does that clock say?
Mike, who you watching?
I actually looked at the clock, Dave. I hate you.
See?
It's not even a clock, and I look like the clock had something to say.
Who do I watch pitch? I'm gonna go back. Look, we could say Sandy Koufax, right? We could say something crazy like that, which obviously would have been amazing. But I'm gonna go back to the juice era. I would have loved to seen Eric Gagne just gas and mow people down when he was juiced out of his mind.
It
was like my favorite era of baseball, and all those guys were just trying to outdo each other. I loved it. I would have loved to see that. Eric Gagne.
The juice made guys like Eric Bedard actually relevant.
Oh, totally relevant. Yeah. So let's not talk about a Fernando Valenzuela or somebody really, really cool, or something crazy. Yeah, let's go something crazy. Sandy Koufax would have been amazing, but I would just love to see Eric Gagne throwing gas at Barry Bonds. I would like that. Bonds juiced out of his mind. I would have loved to see that.
That's a great call. I like that.
Can I just throw a real quick comment? Sure. We talk about Doc Gooden and the juice that he used to throw, all coked up.
Oh yeah.
Right?
When that all came out, reality, him and Darryl Strawberry, all of them.
But we have college and high school pitchers now throwing $102. Like, you know what I mean? These guys are coming out of the draft throwing over 100. Like, can you just fathom that? Like, it's crazy. Go ahead, Dave.
No, you're absolutely right.
That's a good point.
I'm with you. I like what Andre said. That was my guy in the fantasy, Randy Johnson. I picked that. Greg Maddox is hard to go against. And Mike, you're right. Like, go back to the era. Sandy Koufax, Josh Gibson, the pitcher. Like, you can pick. I don't know, man. It's hard to pick one guy.
There's so many of them.
There's a lot of guys, man. I mean, you could go back and I mean, you talked about Doc Gooden. I mean, Jesus, there's another guy, right? Another guy that's probably not talked about enough. That was so electric. But I'm going to give you guys two names, man. And I'm going to be completely different here. And I was a huge Pedro guy. Pedro Martinez to me in a Boston Red Sox uniform was absolutely electric. 100%. There, I would watch. I'll tell you right now, I would watch every inning of that guy play. I loved his moxie. I loved everything about him. And I'll give you another guy, a sleeper guy. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer. He's not going to be in the record books. But for a 2 to 3 year deal, he was unbelievably dominant. Was Johan Santana. When Johan Santana for the Twins was on his game, I'll tell you what, man. Before he went and broke down with the Mets, that you watched every pitch with that dude, man. He was unbelievable for the Twins. Unbelievable.
That's a good pull there.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
I was a big Johan Santana guy. I mean, listen, that was back in the day when I was collecting baseball cards, man. It's like, yo, give me that Johan Santana rookie card, right? My grandfather and Sandy Koufax were friends. How about that, Andre?
Really?
Wait, you need to get some baseball cards, bro. That Gooden curveball was nastiest.
Nasty.
Had a little extra Coke on it.
Yeah.
A little runny nose.
He dipped it in an 8-ball before he threw it.
Andre says he's got a crazy Koufax story with Cecil B. Moore from Temple. He says you only watched him because he never turned down a pitch the hit batter was ready to fight. Big time competitor. I know nothing about Sandy Koufax, right? Like I know who he is, I should say, but I never has anybody ever YouTubed Sandy Koufax? Like I've never done that.
I read about him once, just out of curiosity, but no, it's probably a guy that we should learn a little bit more about. I'm sure we'll be surprised, especially last thing that Andre just sent in.
Yeah.
He said he was a competitor. The guy sounds like he was, a little bit more than a competitor. So I'm definitely going to do that.
There's one for Dave, Smoking Dave Stewart, ace of the Phil's loss, right? We talked about him a few shows ago, but before we move on to the NBA real fast, the anniversary today, right now, probably, guys, as we're doing this show at 10:06 Eastern time, Matt Stairs was walking up against Jonathan Bronxton, right? Jonathan Bronxton, the LA Dodgers. Let's relive this moment real fast.
Stairs rips one into the night, deep into right, way out of here. And Philadelphia gets a pinch hit, 2-run shot. And the Phillies lead 7-5 in the eighth. Added to this team by Pat Gillick from the Toronto Blue Jays, and he hits the first home run off Broxton since July of 2006. Fastball right down the pipe, and did he ever get all of it?
Dude, what was Bronxton doing? Get him a fastball right down Broadway.
Why do that?
I mean, if you do your homework on Matt Stairs, that's all he's ever done.
Yeah, he was
right?
like,
that's all he's ever done.
Home run or strikeout. That was his game.
Right. And you give it straight up to him.
Yeah.
Adam Duvall. Yeah, who got left off the postseason roster, by the way.
Yep.
Wonder why, right? That was 2 outs, by the way. No pressure. Man, look at Andre Andrew. Pulp Fiction 26-year anniversary today also.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Is that right? Wow.
Pulp Fiction.
That's a long time ago. I remember when I was in the theaters. I couldn't wait to see that. Back to Matt Stairs really quick though.
Yeah.
You know, when they interviewed him, they asked him something about how he felt about hitting the home run or whatever. And I remember this quote. I don't know what it was specifically, but I remember him saying, I just swing for the fences.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me. They just regular guy, and I always swing for the fences. And
just swings for the fences, man. That's
he should never have to pay for a drink in Philadelphia ever.
Never.
I mean, when that guy came up to plate, every time after that, me and my buddy Ted would stand up and clap and give the guy a standing ovation. We're the only ones standing. I mean, that hit was bigger than anything in Philadelphia sports, right? It was the biggest. It must be the biggest hit in Philadelphia sports. It's got to be up there with the top 3 at least.
Has to be. What's bigger?
I don't know.
I mean, I really don't know what hit is bigger. Seriously, when you think about it, I mean that won the series.
Yeah.
Right? You think about it. That one.
Victorino had a huge hit, right? Right, Dave? What was Victorino's hit? I forget about that one.
Victorino hit a grand slam against
Milwaukee.
There it is.
That was the Brett Myers game, Dave. Remember?
The Brett Myers game.
Yeah.
That was a great game. I'll tell you what, man. 2008 and 1993. Obviously I was only 2 for 1980, but at least the Phillies gave us they've given us a lot of memories. I could tell you that. Yeah. But let's get into the NBA real fast. Got about 8 minutes left here. And again, throw the question. I don't know if anybody's got the question yet. Some new people coming in, so I'll throw it up there again. This is the Eagles trivia question, and I think you guys are going to love this answer. But in 2014, 2 Eagles returned kickoffs over 100 yards for a touchdown. Josh Huff was one. Who was the other? Now, while you're thinking about that question, throw them in the comments. So obviously, we have a new NBA champion. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, and it's going to be 2-part conversation here. Number one, we're going to talk real quick about Michael LeBron. And I don't want to get into a big, only because I heard a great argument today. And again, this is 3 minutes. Okay, but I want you have to listen to it. It's a very insightful 3 minutes. Chris Broussard, Fox Sports, not a huge fan. I'm not saying but every now and then certain guys, they say things that resonate. And I've been trying to fight the Jordan versus LeBron argument for years. Okay. And I think this guy sums it up completely. So this is going to go about 3 minutes. We'll comment on it. Then we'll get to a quick Sixers question, and then we'll get to the trivia. So check this out. It's 3 minutes long, but I'm telling you, you're going to want to listen to it because I love this debate.
Look, here's what it did is it kept the debate going. If LeBron had lost the finals or not gotten there, not gotten finals MVP, in many people's eyes, it would be over. Remember when The Last Dance was playing months ago? After that it ran, the network that ran it did a poll. 73% of people said Jordan's the GOAT. 66% of 18 to 34-year-olds, a little younger than Nick, said it. So this Jordan had it. Now this latest narrative keeps LeBron alive, and I think brings some of those people back into the LeBron camp, or at least open-minded. I still have Jordan number one, LeBron number two. Here's the number one reason. Well, not the number one, but one of the reasons. Jordan dominated the NBA in a way that LeBron hasn't. There have been 2 3-peats. Jordan had 2 3-peats in 7 years. 2 3-peats in 7 years. Everyone else who has stepped on the planet and played basketball has 1 3-peat in 54 years. And that was Shaq and Kobe, 2 of the top 10 players of all time. Once Jordan started winning, no one else could win. He kept a host of Hall of Famers from winning championships. Ewing, Barkley, Drexler, Olajuwon, Shaq, Robinson. We could go on and on. LeBron hasn't done that. LeBron locked down the East for 8 years, and everyone else in the East was shook. We can't win it. Jordan did that to the entire NBA. All right? LeBron has not kept other superstars from winning, from eating. Durant's 8. Steph's 8. Dirk Nowitzki 8. Kawhi's 8. And old Tim Duncan 8. They all won championships under LeBron's watch. There is no LeBron watch or era when it comes to winning. There's a LeBron watch for greatness, but not winning, because all those other guys have won championships as well. Secondly, Jordan does not have a weakness, Nick. I can point a weakness out in Magic, Bird, Shaq, Kareem, and yes, LeBron. You want to poo-poo it? Free throw shooting, a weakness. Lack of a mid-range pull-up game, a weakness that we saw at the end of Game 5, that we saw against Golden State. When he couldn't pull up over Draymond and shoot the short jumper, he kicked it out to Kyle Korver. That's a weakness. It's a small one, but it's there and hinders him a little bit. And then over-dribbling, over-dominating the basketball limits what other stars can do. That's why the third star, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, becomes a role player. And that limits your team's ability to win more titles. Jordan had no weakness. Don't point to three-point shooting, because it wasn't a weakness back then. And by the way, he has the same percentage as Kobe Bryant, which never was a weakness. So Michael Jordan had no weaknesses. I got more, but I'll let you respond.
Listen. Here's my take on this. Or I just say opinion because I hate that word take. Everybody thinks you have to have a take. This has nothing to do with take, but when he said that Jordan kept, and we've talked about this, all the Hall of Famers from winning NBA titles, LeBron hasn't kept anybody from winning anything. When you think about it, people have still won, right? People have still won. I mean, Al second, LeBron is GOAT in mind because of his overall game. To me, what he said, when you talk about 6 championships, 2 3-peats, right, in 10 years, when the rest of the league only won in 54 years, right? So, I mean, when you talk about Shaq and Kobe, but again, I'm a Jordan guy. I do think sometimes, like Mike, you were right. When you look at some of the stats, and you look at, if you just want to go statistical data and look at the way, whether we talk playoff wins, it's there. I get it. I understand there is an argument to be had. And this is not LeBron hate. I do not hate LeBron. Okay. I've said this before. I think LeBron has done more off the court than anybody can even imagine. People haven't even read into what LeBron does by sending kids to school. Okay, listen, I'm not even going to get started on that because I respect the hell out of him for doing that. But what I will say is I will forever be a Jordan guy. I will forever be a Jordan guy. The argument will forever be there. But that one narrative to me, I think sums it up by saying that Michael held Hall of Famers back. LeBron hasn't held anybody back. John, I know you're shaking. I know you're shaking your head. Go ahead. Give me your little quick condiments here, man.
No, I'm with you that Jordan will be the epitome to me. And, rest in peace, Kobe, I always took LeBron over Kobe. And look, you can say that 2 3-peats, but that also is, I mean, that's kind of patriot-ish. And you look at what LeBron has done with multiple teams and what he's done. And granted, yes, I understand the NBA is a whole different ball game with taking your boys with you and contracts. So it's not like it's so I'm still with Jordan is still the epitome, but I mean LeBron's there, and you know what? Go to another team. Don't take nobody with you and win a championship, and then I may be able to battle.
He kind of did that in Cleveland. Just saying, he did kind of. I will give LeBron that.
No, yeah, yes, but I'm saying I want to see it again. I want to see it again.
He had Kyrie Irving and a couple other role players. The big white kid that was Kevin Love hit a couple big baskets for him.
Exactly.
But here's my thing. There's the points. Al talks about the points and the rebounds and the assists and all that stuff for LeBron. It's just basic. I mean, it's opinion. It's opinion. And LeBron is a great player and has done marvelous things on and off the court, like you said, Tony. I like to go like this, and I talk to everybody about, one game. You have one game, you have one choice, and this is where it comes down to opinion. Who are you going to take on that one game? Do you want Michael Jordan on your team, or do you want LeBron James? How you answer the question is who your guy is. It's really that simple. And it comes down to opinion. Is one a wrong answer? No. But to me, it's Jordan. I'm always going to be a Jordan guy. The era of basketball he played in, LeBron plays in the weakest era of basketball that ever existed. And I mean physically weak. They are more talented basketball players, but their toughness is not the same as what Michael had to go through. So, whatever you want to say, it comes down to opinion. Michael's are my guy.
Mike, what do you think, buddy?
Well, it's not obviously the easiest question to answer, but everybody has their opinion, and there's both sides of the debate. And I think it was Andre had said earlier that really who's controlling the narrative is always going to steer the argument towards whatever the argument will be for everyone by the person that leads the narrative. True, but if we're going to say that one guy was great, the greatest of all time, then what you're doing is that I think you're unfairly comparing data sets that can't be compared to each other, right? So if you want to say, well, who's the greatest offensive player of all time, and you want to go back to Wilt Chamberlain, and the first thing everybody says was, oh, Wilt was light years ahead of everybody else, right? All he had to do was run up and down the court and dunk the ball. Nobody could keep up with him. I mean, we could say the same thing for anybody that's playing in a different era. I mean, you're just saying that, okay, well, these players are soft. They weren't as hard. They didn't have the Bill Lambiers of the world, just crushing you when you came down the, when you tried to drive the paint. You just get hammered and get beat up all the time.
Rick Mahorn.
I mean, yeah, so Mahorn style, elbowed all day, right? So you could say all of that. So I think it's unfair to take a player from a different generation, from a different portion, and try to compare him to one of a current generation. I just think it's an unfair comparison because you're not getting an apples to apples comparison, if that makes any sense. So I think that maybe that's overlooked when we have this GOAT debate. But what I see is every time LeBron goes to a different team, they win the championship. I don't know anybody that's ever done that. So yeah, I mean, I hear Broussard's argument. It's great the way that he framed it. I've never heard of anything like that. He is right. It makes a lot of sense when you talk about all the players that were in that era and they just couldn't get past Jordan. Karl Malone couldn't get past Jordan. Oh. How great was Karl Malone? Right? How great was Karl Malone and John Stockton?
He couldn't get past. He was crying all the time because he couldn't get past Jordan.
Couldn't get past him. Jordan was like a roadblock, right? Oh. So the fact that LeBron didn't really roadblock anybody, I mean, that has to be sort of a matter of timing too, because there has to be other players that are playing really good for their teams have to be coming up at the same time. So I don't necessarily think that should be an indicator of GOAT or GOATness, right? I think they're both great. And I think it's hard. I think you can make an argument to pick either one. But what I haven't seen from LeBron is obviously the 2 3-peats that Jordan had seen, and what we haven't seen from Jordan is because he always stayed on the same team. He didn't jump around and win championships wherever he goes. So you can say whatever you want about how great of a person LeBron is off the field versus Jordan, and I don't even think that's an argument. Again, I don't know either one of these people, but you just read about what some of the stuff that LeBron does, and it's obviously very commendable. But when you're talking about on the court, and you're trying to compare apples to apples, I think it's tough. But I think the deciding factor is the guy goes, and even there's garbage on the team, he wins. So I just try to drill it down to that really basic comparison. I would go Team LeBron.
That's good. That's a good point, man. It's going to be a forever debate, man, which is great. One thing I will say, I'll close it out by saying, again, I said this the other day, I'll say it again. I just was blessed to be able to watch both of them in their prime. Molly said, maybe the comment of the night here,
Flat Earth
says at this point we have to question what Kyrie really is. We know his brain hasn't worked to full capacity these past few years. Flat Earth. So at LeBron, he could just have had flat Earth strength. I love it.
It's possible.
Absolutely love it.
Good point, Molly.
Al, I would say it's who else is on the team, because LeBron could score, pass, and lead any team. Jordan will shoot 40 shots to win. Interesting. I don't think it would ever be an argument of Jordan played the 2 years the Rockets won. I mean, we're always going to talk about that, right?
That's true.
And Andrew giving us our play-by-play Major League Baseball. Braves beat the Dodgers 8-7, take a 2-0 lead. Another playoff collapse by the Dodgers. That's going to sum it up for me. If I'm going to watch the Braves get to the World Series this year, I mean, come on. Enough. So let me answer, before we get to the answer to your question. I had to play because I think this is fun. And Andre, Al, I know you guys are going to be all up for this. Molly, if you're listening, I know you're basketball as well. Basketball queen as always. So looking at the NBA right now, this is a fun question. Okay. We like to do little tidbits here. Last week, the stiff list was fantastic. I'm still getting people for that. It was great. But here's what I want to do. I want everybody to look at the NBA right now. Okay, it doesn't matter who's available. Everybody's available right now. Everybody. And you have Ben and Joe. Ben and Joe are on your team. I want you to pick one guy to form a threesome, just like the LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh threesome. Who's the third guy that you pick right now? Put him on the squad, and boom, let's win an NBA title. Dave, you're up. Who you picking, buddy?
This is the easiest.
I know where he's going.
Question. You know who I'm going with?
I know where you're going.
Damian Lillard, hands down champion.
Whoa, Dame.
Okay.
Damian Lillard, you win. If he stays here with Ben and Joe, you win 3 like Jordan.
I love that. I
didn't think you were going there.
Point guard, can shoot, plays great D, is unselfish. That's a championship right there. You can't pick anybody else that can beat him. Damian Lillard, that's the guy for you, Tom.
Solid pick.
I love it. Mike, what do you got, man?
I guess I got to go Giannis.
Oh, would you imagine that team? Talk about a couple trees. Oh, my Lord. Giannis, Joe, and Ben.
Just triple towering. No one's getting through.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it. Yeah, I would go Giannis.
John,
I love that guy. I'm partial to that dude.
That's all right. I like Giannis too.
I love Giannis, but he scares me. You want to put him with Joel and Ben?
I'm always leaning towards chaotic scenarios, John. In case you haven't noticed.
I feel
that's
like
a goose squad.
What was the whatever the movie with the chick from the Joker? What was it? And Will Smith, all the what was it?
The Suicide Squad, right?
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. Let's just put the Suicide Squad out there with a bunch of weirdos.
Why not? I mean, look, I think it's pretty clear.
I'm going simple and realistic. Seth Curry, dude. Give me Seth Curry.
You want Seth or Steph?
Seth.
What?
The younger brother.
What?
I want Seth because it's realistic. I need a guy that's going to shoot. That's what I'm telling you I want. You know what? Good luck with the contracts. Hey, say I'm crazy. I'm going with Seth, not Steph Curry.
Well, Al second and says Bradley Beal. I love the Bradley Beal pick. I think it's another guy, just like Dave with Dame. I think it's a great pick. How about Andrew going opposite here, saying I'm going Patrick Beverly. I'm going to lock down defender. Interesting. Andre checking in. Got to go KD. 3-point threat and runs the floor. I mean, I'll tell you what, man. That's KD's a good pick, right? Good pick. Molly checks in, stealing my pick, Molly. You're stealing my pick. I was 100% going Luka Doncic.
Ooh, Luka.
Right? I was going Luka. Right? I'm thinking, you throw Luka in the mix, you could do it all. Man, me and Molly are thinking on the same page. That's why she's an NBA queen. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? I'm going Luka. But since Molly did take Luka, I'll give you my 1B, and it's Devin Booker.
Wow.
And you throw Devin
like
Booker.
that.
Do you imagine Booker, Embiid, and Simmons? Man, let me tell you, man, that would be unbelievable. Molly, you're absolutely right, Molly. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Andre dropping it with an A-bomb. As always, we may have Lou Williams back real soon. Swaggy P may be a part of the Sixers. Andre's got some really good sources, man. He always hooks us up. So I would definitely like to have Lou Williams back.
Yeah, I like that.
Why not? Grab him in, man. Absolutely. But guys, hour 40, man. I want to go hour and a half. That's okay. It was fun. It wasn't stagnant. As always, everybody, thanks for checking in.
You got to do your answer for the.
Yeah, we got to do the answer. Hold on. I'm glad you said that, Dave. I was just getting ready. Got to do the answer. So before
why do I feel like it's going to be a stiff? I smell it. It's
before I give the answer,
no doubt.
Hold on. I have to say this. Everybody, please stay tuned. Okay, we got a really decent contest going to happen Thursday Night Football, October 22nd. Eagles, Giants. I will give you the information. We'll be giving away a $100 authentic jersey of your choice, brought to you by Statement Games. Go check them out. It's a really, really great platform. We're going to be doing more, bigger, and better things with Statement Games. So with the heat ratio. So go check them out. Again, it's a fantasy sports platform that costs you zero money to play. Really, really fantastic concept. Really like Mark Salino, CEO out there. Great guy. He's got a really cool concept. So more information on that coming. But to get back to Andre says we know it isn't Todd Stinkston. Eagles trivia. 2 Eagles. Are we ready? Dave? Wait, Dave didn't guess one yet. Mike, you already guessed, right?
I didn't, and I thought it was Sproles, but somebody guessed that, so that just basically took me out of the equation.
John, did you have a guess?
Dude, I have nothing.
Dave, you have a list of players. You give me one.
Brandon Boykin.
Wow, that's a good one.
Wow.
I forgot about Brandon Boykin.
So did everybody in the world.
Yes. There's another guy. Where are they now? Brandon Boykin.
That's got to be an episode.
All right. Are we ready? Drum roll. Are we ready for this?
We are.
Ultimate stiff running back Chris Polk. Chris Polk. Check that one out.
Where did you dig this up?
Yo, I'll tell you, bro. I can't.
Exactly.
I can't. Al, so sorry, buddy. Comments coming late. Is it a cornerback? It is running back Chris Polk is the other guy. So again, 2 guys returned kickoffs in 2014 of 100 yards or more. Josh Huff, which I could see. Josh Huff was but Chris Polk. Wow. Unbelievable, right?
I never would have guessed that. I don't think anybody would have.
I mean, listen, we're all about making you think here, man. All about making you think. So, I'll say, I forgot about it. And I'm trying to think. He was an undrafted guy, right? He was really good in college, I think, and he just didn't get drafted, I think. And I think he was undrafted. We brought him in. He made a couple starts for the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. Crazy, man.
Wow.
Chris Polk. Wow. Unbelievable. Oh, man, it's a fun show, man. Fun show. Listen, guys,
absolutely.
Everybody for checking in, as always. I needed a good laugh at the end of the night. Molly, hopefully we gave that to you. I appreciate you following, as always. Geez, Polk is working at Wawa now. On that note, at Heat Ratio Sports, on all social platforms. Give us a follow: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Follow on Apple, Google, wherever the hell you get your podcasts at. Just click the 5-star, man. It's that simple. Give us a review. We are doing tremendous things here. More partnerships coming announced. Remember, the 22nd. I'll get you the information. It'll be really cool. We'll bring up more next week. As always, Molly, thank you again. At Ticatilla23, Mikey Googs, Coach Dave Dixon at Coach Dixon 365, at PGH John 36, at Heat Ratio Sports. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you next week. Dave.